Hello my friends, and welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. As you can see, I have two hearts drawn here, and these are going to be sugar cookies. Although I was looking at this and I was tempted to do those, I forget what they're called, but they're these little candy hearts and they have different things written on them. But no, we're just going to continue on with the sugar cookies. So I'm just erasing as I do my pencil marks so they're a little bit lighter so they don't show through the watercolor, since we are using a very light color for the cookie base. And I'm gonna grab maybe like a nude. We're gonna have to make our own color here because I don't think I have a cookie color. So I'm taking this brownish yellow mixed with nude. We'll see where that takes us. Maybe a little bit of yellow in there to brighten it up. You just experiment with your colors until you're happy with a cookie color. So I'm gonna paint this one that's overlapping the second one first. And we're just starting with the cookie, and then we're gonna paint like icing over top. I like this color, I would say. Now, see, I'd be tempted to not paint the entire cookie since we are painting like a large portion of this icing on top. However, if we don't do the whole cookie, then you'll be able to see this line through the icing, unfortunately. So I'm just first doing my borders in the opacity that I want the cookie to be, and then I'm just gonna still paint the inside, but it's gonna be kind of watered down so that there's no harsh line. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. This brush technique is not healthy for my paintbrush. I do not recommend it. Kind of tempted just to leave it like that. Oh, I really want to make some sugar cookies. That's what I'm doing after this. I was gonna go and water my garden because my daughter is she's sleeping. She has her nap right now, but I am going to make sugar cookies instead without icing, because I don't like, I have this issue that when I see when I see what do I see? What do I see, guys? Right, when I see like icing or sugar, especially from the store, when I know it's from the store, on cookies or cupcakes, it's a big no-no for me. All I can think about when I see that is, oh, I'm basically turning my immune system off for a good few hours after eating this. Not that I don't eat things with sugar, but it is just an unnecessary amount of sugar. The amount that they load on top of cupcakes, and unless you make your own icing, which is, you know, like when I make icing, it's not really icing, it's like the cream part in between layers of cakes or whatever. I use coconut cream, which is no sugar. It's just fat, and it's a good fat for you, as I understand it. And then if I want to sweeten it, it's already got like a little bit of a sweetness to it, so that's why I rarely sweeten it. But if I ever need to, I'll add like a tablespoon of maple syrup, and bada bing bada boom. Although recently I had to go on a like totally sugar-free diet for my daughter because I'm still breastfeeding her, so what I eat affects her, obviously. So I had to go on like a total sugar-free diet, including most fruit. and that was really challenging because I love carbs. But I discovered stevia, and it wasn't that bad. Like, I used that to make cookies and whatever, and it was not that bad. Obviously, it's not the same as sugar, like coconut. I usually use maple syrup or coconut sugar, but it did the job for the time being. Okay, these kind of look like two balloons or something. I really like how it looks so far. So I'm gonna wait for these to completely dry because then we're gonna paint on the icing. So this should be totally dry. Should be, probably isn't because I didn't dry it for very long. But I'm just taking some pink that I have and I'm watering it down a lot. A lot. That's probably still not watered down enough. And we're gonna paint on our icing. So icing is supposed to be like this thick, you know, overpouring stuff, but I'm gonna try and center it in the center of my cookie. So it's gonna go sort of like this. And I'm intentionally adding these little dollops of icing sticking out. Okay, now I like how this icing looks, but I do want to add some streaks of pink through it. Kind of like a painted on, I don't know. I just want to add a little bit of fun to this. So I am adding little pink streaks diagonally like this. And then we can even add some sprinkles afterwards when this dries. Another thing I'm going to do when this dries is add shading on bordering the icing, but I'll explain how to do that later on. For now, I'm going to do the second cookie. So same thing, we're just applying our icing. Okay. And same with this one, I'm adding those pink streaks. Like so. I like that some of them stick out more than others. And I do want to, how am I going to do this? Because I want to make this part a little bit darker because it's being overlapped by this cookie. So I just made it a little bit darker there. Hopefully that makes sense. And I want to do the same thing on the actual like cookie part as well. Although I probably should have waited with that until the icing dried. Okay. I really don't like how that ended up turning out, but I can't do anything about it now unless I had acrylic paint that was this color, then I could kind of re-round that. Although I could take white and add this color to it and maybe achieve something there, but I don't want to risk it and then ruin the rest of the cookie, so we're just going to leave it that way for now. I'm going to make sure that this is totally dry and then we'll add some more details. So this should be dry. Just going in with my pink streaks on that second cookie. And I'm going to take that original color that I used for the cookie, add a little bit of black or brown to it, and we are going to just border the icing. And I'm going to do that on this second cookie as well. Because I want to make that icing stand out a little bit, and we can try and blend it out so it's not this harsh line. I probably should have done that like right away because it's drying pretty quickly here. Like so. And let's see. Now we can add our little sprinkles. I'm going to take white and just add dots to this. Technically I can like hit another paintbrush against it and it'll give me little splatters everywhere, but I'm just going to do it manually so that all my sprinkles are the same size. And we don't just have to use white, we can certainly add in other colors in a moment. Whoops. And you could choose, I actually have done, I think when I painted a donut, I did those longer rainbow sprinkles. And I like doing those because you can add a white accent to them afterwards, which makes them look a little bit more 3D and realistic. So definitely do that if that's what you prefer. I'm gonna grab perhaps like a pink. I have this neon pink. I don't know if neon is exactly the best. Yeah, I'll use neon. No, hold on. I'll take the neon and then I'll add like a regular pink to it. I used to paint fingernail art, and I had this dotting tool that was amazing because you would just, well, that's exactly what it was. It was a dotting tool, so it made these perfect dots with just one touch with the nail polish, and I wish there was something like that for watercolor, but it just doesn't stick as easily. I'm kind of tempted to just do those like longer ones because the dots are not for me. I'll do them on the second cookie. And let's do maybe green as well. I'm gonna take my neon green and mix that in. And then finally, I'm gonna do a little bit of yellow as well. And I'm taking my neon yellow. Although no, I think it's an eggshell yellow. Yeah, it's definitely eggshell, it's not neon. The neon is really neon, so I'm not gonna use it. Blue actually would have looked nice as well. So maybe I'll add in some blue. Sprinkle overload. Okay. So after those sprinkles, this looks a lot more realistic in my opinion. Not realistic, but it actually looks like sugar, cute little sugar cookies. Did I say that this is for Valentine's Day? I don't even know if I mentioned that. I mean, I feel like it should be obvious, given that this is released right before, or will be released right before Valentine's Day. I have to wait to add the white accents with the acrylic paint. I have to wait until it's dry. But in the meantime, we can add it elsewhere. So the border of the cookies should be dry. So I'm just adding like a line there. Line here. Although I don't know if these should even have white accents because they're cookies, they're not shiny. The icing would be shiny. It would make sense to add it there. Whatever, it doesn't have to be realistic. Doop. Okay. And so we're just waiting for these little guys to dry so that we can add little white lines on top of them. This is what I was talking about when I said that with the line sprinkles, you can add these little white highlights to them to make them look a little bit less flat. Like so. And I mean, I guess you can do that on these ones as well, the little dots, but it's just not as, doesn't look as natural. And now it just kind of looks like these are sprinkles with white dots on them. That's all right. So I think that's it for our little sugar cookies. Let me know what you guys thought about these guys in the comments. You can always write like Happy Valentine's Day or whatever greeting that you want. Actually, I am gonna write like I heart you. So it'll be like I Does that make sense? I always, not always, but I often regret adding writing to these cards because I'm usually not very good at it. There we go. So that's nice. I heart you. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching this one, guys. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I will be sure to see you in the next tutorial.